Correct. She's gonna give you a verbal something, okay, to change it. You ready to start? Yes, okay. So I want to thank all of you for coming today. This is an issue that is very dear to my heart and also to the mayor's heart. We've talked several times about this. In fact, it's like the first thing we talked about when I met with her just after she was elected. And I came close to this issue in 2015 when I first started noticing a pattern of our children being killed, 39 of them altogether, killed and injured. And especially these deaths were completely and totally and absolutely preventable. But I have to tell you, a child is just as dead if they're killed from unsafe stores as if they're killed from a drive-by shooting. The child still is not gonna live. The child is still gonna be dead. The child will never enjoy their life. So this is a critically important issue. And whenever we can talk about prevention, and whenever we can talk about children not being killed, not being injured, is an important time. So we're gonna have a PowerPoint for you today. So the first page, please. In 2022, firearms remain the number one cause of deaths for our children in the United States and in Michigan as well, surpassing previously motor vehicle deaths and those deaths caused by accidental injuries. Now, it's important to note that these are stats from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and 2/3, that's 67%, of unintentional firearm injury deaths among children occurred when the shooter was playing with the firearms or showing the gun to others. Children have a magnetic and instant attraction to guns for some reason, always. They always know where they are, they always want to pick them up, they always want to play with it, they always want to shoot it, and they always, perhaps, will sometimes injure people. And usually other children like themselves. Overall, firearms used in unintentional injury deaths were often stored unloaded, 76%. That's why we're here, to prevent this. And most of these unlocked firearms were also loaded, 91%. Unlocked firearms were the most commonly accessed form from a nightstand or other sleeping areas. And I have to tell you, doing these cases and paying attention to these cases now for 11 years, we found unsafely stored guns in cribs, on kitchen tables, on couches, on couch tables, on kitchen counters, in pockets where the butt is sticking out of the jacket, everywhere you can think of. In the playrooms of children where they play, under a bed, under a pillow. These are places where these guns should be secured and stored. And of course, children, in all the instances that I just pointed out, picked up that gun, played with it, pointed it, fired it. So it's just very common to find these in sleeping areas where people think they're safe. The answer is simple: safely store your weapons. We are tired in the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, I'm sure Madam Mayor as well, of children injuring themselves and killing themselves in this way, when gun owners haven't taken a second of their time, minutes of their time to lock up these firearms. This is a very simple solution to these deaths and needed to our children. Again, safely store your firearms. This is, as I've said often, this is 1+1 stuff, simple, easy, preventable, and that child lives. Now let me also talk about the new law that passed in 2024 in the state of Michigan. I know all of you listening know about these laws that were adopted then by the Michigan legislature. The law has made it easier to charge and successfully prosecute these cases where parents and caregivers fail to secure their guns safely. Before that, we were using the child abuse laws that are much harder to charge and prove. And so now this has given us additional tools in our toolbox to be able to prosecute these cases. Ultimately, getting this law passed and signed into law by the governor was a huge success that culminated on February 13, 2024, when it officially took effect. We worked hard for over 8 years with the Michigan legislature and anyone that would listen anywhere to try to get these laws changed. Safe storage is something that's very important. In Wayne County and across Michigan, the law mandates that unattended firearms must be locked up in a container or rendered inoperable with a locking device if a minor is likely to be present. And as I say all the time, if you live in a home or you have a car where there are children that are never going to be there, you can store your gun any way you want. But if you know children are going to be in and out of your house, you must abide by this law. Our child abuse unit has aggressively pursued charges in Wayne County and in Detroit, of course, against adults for improper firearm storage following incidents where children gained access to unsafely stored firearms. In total, in 1 year, from 2024 to 2025, our child abuse unit reviewed and authorized a total of 16 unsafe storage firearm cases under the new law, which, as I said earlier, took effect in 2024. I'm not going to read this whole law to you, but I do want to make some highlights to you. It's Michigan Compiled Law, MCL 28.429, and we are going to be providing all of you with a copy of this PowerPoint. If an individual fails to secure or store a firearm as required by law, and a minor child obtains that firearm, the adult may be charged with a crime and face possible penalties. It's a misdemeanor if the child simply exhibits the firearm in public, or possesses or exhibits the firearm and does not fire it. Is a 5-year felony if the minor discharges the firearm and injures himself or somebody else. If a minor discharges the firearm and someone is seriously injured and incapacitated, it is a 10-year felony. And if the minor discharges the firearm and inflicts death on someone, it's a 15-year felony. Again, my thank you to the Michigan legislature who did provide the passage of this law. I want to just go through some of our cases that we have, and you can see it on the screen behind me. In 2021, a child shoots a sibling and kills him with his dad's firearm. The dead child is age 5. A 3-year-old child shot in the arm with an unsecured gun. A 13-year-old, a child's 10-year-old cousin shoots him in the forehead with the mom's gun. Age 7, a child shot while playing with the mom's gun. Age 3 years old, a child shoots himself in the hand with his mother's gun. 2022, I'm going to go through a few more. A 4-year-old child was shot in the leg by the mother. Age 3, a child shot in the head by a gun in the mom's coat that went off as she hung up her coat. Age 2, a child shoots and injures himself, a 2-year-old child, with his mother's unsecured handgun. 12-year-old child, a child dies. 12-year-old dies from a self-inflicted gunshot wound with his grandmother's gun, his godmother's gun. Age 5, a child age 8 shoots his sibling, age 5, with his grandmother's gun. Fortunately, that particular one, the child was not deceased. In 2022, a 2-year-old child shot in the lip with an unsecured gun. In 2022, age 4, a child fires a shot in a hotel, no injuries, unsecured gun, of course. Age 3, child shot in the leg with a gun in dad and girlfriend's room. Age 5, a child dies from a self-inflicted gunshot wound with mother's boyfriend's gun. An 8-year-old child dies from a self-inflicted gunshot wound with mother's gun. And we can go on and on and on. 2023, age 14, a child shoots himself in the jaw with his mother's unsecured gun. In February 2024, as I said before, the law changed, and we had a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 7-year-old, all injured, and a 6-year-old and another 6-year-old, all injured or killed with these unsecured guns. We will be providing a chart for you that lays this all out so you can see exactly what happened. And I want to end my remarks before we hear from the mayor by saying this. We applied for and received a grant for an educational campaign that we're kicking off and telling you about today. It's called the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office Safe Storage Media Campaign. We would like to thank our granting agencies, the Prosecuting Attorneys Association of Michigan and the Michigan State Police, for awarding this grant to us, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, for a safe storage media campaign. After competitive bids were solicited, Ottaway Communications was selected to create the radio and digital media coverage that you'll be seeing soon. On May 11th, this will launch officially, although we are going to give you a sneak preview today. We are proud to announce the media campaign will launch, as I said, on May the 11th. The campaign will appear on local streaming and radio. A video will also be shot that I'm shooting today, actually, on the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office YouTube channel, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office Michigan Facebook page, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office Instagram page. The campaign will consist of radio slots to let the public know about this critical issue to save our children of unsafe storage in Detroit and Wayne County. This press conference, I hope today, will literally save lives. And I'm pleased to announce at this moment in time, to introduce, well, you all know her, Mayor Sheffield, who's also extremely passionate about this issue.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to first thank Madam Prosecutor Kym L for her continued leadership and her partnership on this very critical issue in the city of Detroit and Wayne County as a whole, and that is protecting our children and keeping our community safe by promoting safe and responsible storage of firearms. Too often, we typically hear and read in the news the heartbreaking situations of a child that gains access to an unsecured firearm, leading them to injury, trauma, or even loss of life. And as I met with the prosecutor a few weeks back, she mentioned that a lot of these cases are happening right in the city of Detroit. And it broke my heart to hear of the tragedies, and really that these, again, can be preventable situations. And so as a city, we have a responsibility to do our part in our power to ensure that we are preventing these tragedies. And that is why we are also launching, in partnership with the city of Detroit, part of our 6-point plan, a gun safety and storage campaign that will be a part of our broader community safety strategy. First, we are making sure that every Detroiter understands the life-saving importance of safe gun storage. Secondly, we are ensuring that we are actually giving away 2,000 gun locks throughout the city of Detroit. We partner with several entities and we'll be giving out 2,000 gun locks to residents who need them and want them. And lastly, we are meeting people where they are through community events, neighborhood outreach, and a strong social media campaign. We are also going directly into communities to ensure that residents and families have access to gun locks. I want to be clear that responsible gun ownership includes responsible gun storage. This is about ensuring that a moment of curiosity by a child does not turn into a lifelong tragedy for a family. And so I am asking every gun owner in Detroit to take this seriously, secure your firearms, use a gun lock, and store them safely. And again, I want to thank our Madam Prosecutor for her diligence, her advocacy, and the ability to partner on such an important issue that will save lives here in the city of Detroit. We stand in partnership and are going to do our part to ensure that Detroiters have access to gun locks, that they're educated, and that we're actually putting this message around how this can be prevented in the city of Detroit. So thank you.
So it's our sincere hope that people seeing this seriously, and for the mayor, for the city of Detroit, and for me, for the entire county of Wayne, where we see these cases, mostly in Detroit, unfortunately, I'm really hoping people take this seriously. Please listen, keep your minds open, safely store your weapons. It can seriously prevent our young children and adolescents and teens, and quite frankly, other people, from being killed or seriously injured. We've had some devastating cases. When we had a case in Dearborn where 3 children were shot and 1 went through the eye in a unlicensed daycare center. So we have example after example after example that we've had since 2015. And we cannot take it anymore when these deaths are completely and absolutely preventable. So we'll take some questions, but
the radio spot?
Oh, I'm sorry. We do want to preview, as I mentioned earlier, one of our radio slots that will be starting on May the 11th.
Phrases like these you don't want to hear.
My 9-year-old was killed because I didn't safely store my shotgun.
I left my children alone in the car with my handgun, and my 6-year-old was shot and killed.
I left my handgun unsecured at home, and now my 8-year-old daughter is gone.
I'm Wayne County Prosecutor Kym L. Household guns, often the most easily accessible firearms for youth. They are a major source of weapons used in school shootings, youth suicides, and unintentional shooting deaths among children. Children and teens have a magnetic attraction to firearms. Secure storage prevents shootings by taking away access to these guns. Gun owners can be held responsible for not locking up or securing their weapons. To learn more, visit our YouTube Wayne County, Michigan Gun Safe video. Make your home a safe place. Properly secure your firearms. It's a matter of life and death.
Everyone can prevent this issue. We'll take a few questions, but I caution you only on this issue and not any others.
Madam Prosecutor and Mayor Sheffield, can you guys share, if you can, do you have a personal anecdote why you say it's so near and dear to your heart?
Let me go first. Please.
I mean, we're talking about kids. I mean, everyone she just mentioned was under roughly the age of 10. So we're talking about babies that are losing their life to, as she mentioned, preventable tragedies in our city. And so it's something that I think with proper education we can get a hold of, but we're literally talking about babies, right, in our communities that we have to save and protect. So it's near and dear to me. Again, we want to do all that we can to protect our cities and our families. So it's definitely something I'm passionate about as well.
And I think when people think about prosecutors, they think about we lock people up, we prosecute cases. But ever since I've been the elected prosecutor now for 23 years, and I've been here since 2004, one of my main focuses has been prevention. And prosecutors love to talk about prevention. We would love to have less cases when it comes to these kinds of issues and others, frankly. But to be able to inform people about how they can stop child deaths, I don't know how can we not.
Part of prevention is also risk of penalty and enforcement. I'd be curious what you might say about your office's policy. Obviously, I'm sure case-by-case basis, but is the message publicly that when these incidents occur and children are killed or injured, or if there's a delineation there as well, they'll always be prosecuted? Do you look for extreme negligence? What's your message to people beyond trying to prevent, but know the hammer's going to come if we find, what you did was negligent? And how is it cold cut? You're going to prosecute everyone? What would you say?
Like any other case that we do. I mean, I think most of you know we do anywhere from 18,000 plus cases a year. We certainly don't charge them all. We have many robust, I think 12 or 13 robust prevention programs, diversion programs. So our goal is not to lock everybody up. Our goal is prevention, and our goal is also accountability. We have to hold people accountable for their behavior, but our goal going into these cases is not always jail or prison. We want to make sure that people are informed, that they're educated, so no one else will face these kinds of consequences again. And no more body bags full of children will be coming out of houses and cars. So we look at these cases on a case-by-case basis, you called it, but again, we have to hold people accountable. And that's why we are so passionate about this campaign and about this issue way before now, because we want to be able to prevent our children from being killed and seriously injured.
How long does the campaign run?
I'm not sure, is it 6 months?
It will run until July, and then the YouTube will run
In perpetuity.
indefinitely. Yeah.
Okay.
So my director of communications said it will run through July. I should have known that. And then, but our social media part of it and our YouTube will be in perpetuity. So it will be accessible forever.
I noticed you quoted statistics from 2022. Broadly, do you have any reference point as to whether this is still an increasing problem numerically, whether it's leveled off? I have no idea.
And remember, these stats that I've quoted today, we just started from 2021. But we've been looking at this issue since 2015. So I don't even want to add up how many children you're talking about, mainly in the city of Detroit, that have lost their lives, that have to live with that trauma for the rest of their lives, lost their eyes, lost their limbs, lost a piece of who they were literally, and the caregivers and parents who have to live with the fact that simply storing their guns safely could prevent that.
Did you say when and where the gun locks will be available?
Yeah, so through all of our neighborhood police officers through various precincts, we have 2,000 that we'll be distributing. They'll also be a part of some of our larger community events that we'll be hosting this summer. And I also wanted to mention that we have a robust social media campaign as well that the city is in the process of producing as well to promote safe storage as well.
Anything else? Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Get the word out. We would love for you to spread this everywhere you can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know it's part of the
Thank you.